Christopher Sam is my best friend. Now, he is a best friend select. He has a lot. So, unfortunately, I only have one, and he is it. I have a lot of good friends, a lot of really great friends, but he is my best friend. Meanwhile, he has like 20 others.
20 is an exaggerated number.
I'm kidding. He's not a slut. Best friend slut. He is a really good friend. Met a few years ago. In my low time of friendships, I was on a desert of friendships, and I knew that I needed to change something. So I reached out to Chris, and we became best friends. And I'll tell you that story here in a minute. But first, Chris,
what's up?
How does it feel to have me as your best friend?
Oh man, did we just do that? Okay, all right. Let me do something different. How does it feel to have you as a best friend?
Tell me how amazing I am.
Well, I was going to use the word wonderful, but amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but it's very great to have somebody like TV in your life who gets you, who understands where you're coming from. Some people you meet in life and you have to do a lot of translation to expunge your soul into them so they can see things from your viewpoint and then interact with you, right? I don't need to really do too much translation with him. Oh, okay, so we're going to translate that. But, just it feels good to have somebody that I can talk to, that I can, be vulnerable around and know that they don't have any malicious intent for me. So, love you, bro.
I didn't actually expect you to answer that so well.
Oh, God. Okay, you know what?
But, all right, so that's why he's my best friend. Which leads us into the first major topic. A few years ago, I looked up, and I've told this story numerous times, so this is the first time I'm sharing it like verbally. I've actually written about it. But I looked up a few years ago and realized that I didn't have many male friends. Frankly, I didn't have many friends that I spoke to on a regular basis, much less a male friend. And I wondered to myself, why the fuck was that? Well, why don't I have any guy friends? And males need males, females need females. We need all types of friendships, but we need someone that can relate to us on multiple levels, especially when it comes to the same problems that we're having, the issues we're going through in life, relationships. I can talk honestly, bluntly, with vulnerability without feeling like I need to filter myself, like I can just download and he can be there. That was my thought. But why don't I have them? And I made a resolution to myself that I needed to fix that. Clearly it was something that I had done, or I hadn't done, and I wanted to do more intentionally. I met him in a dance class. I take dance kizomba here in Dallas. And
very, very well. He dances kizomba very well.
We're going to have him tell his side of the story in a second. But go to class, and he's there. And I think it was the first time I had ever seen him. There was not enough follows, females typically, follows in class. So I volunteered because I was trying to get back into the scene. I do this every 2 or 3 years, trying to get back into the scene. Mm-hmm. But I volunteered to be a follow. And he was a lead, and I would cycle around. Most of the guys in the room struggled embracing me because I was a male, and obviously they're males, and there was that hesitation, which is fine. It's normal. I get it. But I'm trying to get over that because at the end of the day, I am who I am. I don't have there's no malicious intent. I'm not trying to grab you or touch you, homie. So we're cycling around, but it is what it is. We have that, we're hesitant to touch another man in that way. And we weren't trying to grope each other, but we're cycling around. Everyone's keeping me at a distance. But I get to Chris, and he pulls me in. Because he's comfortable in his sexuality. He's not worried about it. I'm like, oh, okay, this is different. And then we're dancing, and they're leading the moves. And I was like, wow. I do my thing, and I think I showed him a couple of things that I was familiar with, like, hey, you should try this, you should try that, which is also great because I could give him immediate feedback as the lead. Fantastic, right? Then we cycle around, but by the end of the class, the teacher asked, hey, everyone, or at the end of that cycle, that particular moment, hey, and everyone goes around and they get to me. I'm like, ladies, I now know why y'all love Kizomba, why y'all love dancing. Dude, this is different. I've never felt that, and it wasn't sexual. It wasn't bad in any way. It was neat. It was fun. It was just cool. And second of all, Chris knows how to dance. Y'all need to connect with him. Y'all need to make sure to find him on the dance floor, because this guy right here is amazing. Fast forward a little bit, and I continued to like see him, and we were at some dance event. I finally turned to him once I made that commitment to myself. I said, "Hey, bro." No, I texted him. I said, "Hey, do you want to be my friend?" And what did you say? No, what did you say? Fill in the rest of the story from your point of view.
So starting from where you left off just now?
Starting from where I left off and go back into the dance class, or however you want to take it, bro.
So I'm going to answer the question he left off, and then I'll go back from my point of view. So he texted me like, "Hey, bro, good meeting you. Blah, blah, blah. I'm looking for more male friendships. Would can we be friends?" I'm looking at this message like, "Hey, brother, thanks for the feedback. I appreciate you. I thought we were already friends. I thought we already were friends."
We are friends.
Yeah. And I really appreciate him asking. And I mean, my story doesn't deviate too much from his in terms of how we initially got together. But I think I really, really appreciated his openness to ask for a friend, right? Because that may mean something completely different for him. Friendship for him may be different for me. But the fact that he initiated, okay, hey, yeah, Dylan, let's meet, let's talk. You know what I mean? Like, these are the things I'm interested, topics, life, from a similar lens, obviously older than me. So he had some experience and insights and wisdom that I could leverage and superimpose on my life and enrich myself. So his mere presence was very enriching. And also to having a sounding board that you can just talk to. You know, the world is an amazing, wonderful place, but it does get cloudy some days. And having people that you can, stand under an umbrella with and talk shit about the sky crying makes the journey a little bit more enjoyable.
You said that before. I like that.
Yeah, see, I gotta keep things new, otherwise the friendship gets stale.
That's very metaphorical. I like that.
The
sky is crying.
Yeah. One thing I think, as you were talking, I was thinking about that, because I know the topic we're kind of discussing right now is, how do adults make friends, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it was a very intentional thing. When I was younger, I don't know how young, but maybe high school, maybe early college, I used to hear a lot of people say, I think it was high school, "Hey, go to college. It's going to be the best years of your life." It was the best years of my life. And I said, that sucks. Are you telling me that the next 4 years are going to be the best years? That's it, right? That's it, right? So I that really set off a chain of systems in my head to kind of figure out, why do people say that?
Right. You've never told me this. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think I. Yeah.
That is actually troubling. I mean, I'm sure they meant it in the sense that it was a fantastic time for them. They met new friends, they connected, they found their career, may have found probably their partner, some. But what about the rest of your life? Are they just being kind of dramatic about it? Like, oh, yeah, they're the best years.
Yeah, and for me, I don't know. Right? I'm a kid. I don't have those type of... First of all, those are very good questions I should have asked.
Right.
But I'm just stuck on the fact, like, are you telling me that my life is going to go downhill after college?
Indirectly,
yeah, right? Yeah. So I'm looking at it from an inverse perspective. And I got that phrase a lot. Maybe it was just encouragement to enjoy and be psyched up for college.
That's kind of what I would think, but still.
But then, the connotation of, if that is, what isn't, right? So I really began to ruminate at that in my head. And I tried to study, as kind of like we were talking right before we got started, study people who have come before me, right? Interview a lot of people. As anybody who knows me knows, I'm very gregarious, and I like to ask questions, and I like to talk.
Very gregarious.
So I get a lot of information, and what I discerned was that, and there's actually been several TED Talks that have come out recently to kind of back this up, but what I discerned for myself is, a lot of the people, as they age, again, cliches, become less childlike. And because they become less childlike, they're not as open to new experiences. They're not as open to just saying, "Hey, I think you dance cool. You know, would love to talk and get to know you." Right? Like people, especially as men, like we're not used to just befriending people, right? Usually there's
because it might seem gay.
Yeah, but I mean, shit. Not. Oh, wait. Can I curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
Okay.
It's a little too late to ask for permission now, brother.
That wasn't my first curse.
No, but I did.
Oh, okay.
But you said it, and then you asked for permission.
I mean, yeah. Okay. All right.
At any rate.
At any rate, in any event, I don't even think it's about like being whatever your sexual proclivities are. It's like even if you're like I'm a cisgendered heterosexual man, right? And I have great platonic relationships with women as well that enrich my life because they see life from a different perspective, and they help me see things that if I was in a typically, let's say, masculine frame, I wouldn't see things in that way.
Yeah.
And getting that feminine perspective helps me get more in touch with my side. That makes my masculine shine even more. It's interesting.
But that's what friendships just do, though.
They make you grow.
They help you grow. They help you see things that you don't see because you only have one set of eyeballs.
Yeah.
So whether they're female, male, gay, straight,
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
African, Mexican, American, whatever, they
Vietnamese.
give you a different set of eyes, and that's
Correct.
the benefit of having friendships.
Correct.
It's sad to me. It's sad to me that as we get older, to kind of circle back around to what you were talking about, the unintentional message that was sent to you that those were the best years of these individuals' lives were in college, as if to say that later on it just goes to shit.
Yeah.
But the idea of being able to continue to develop friendships, nurture the ones that they have, becomes much more difficult because life does get in the way. That's the reality of it, right? Mm-hmm. As you get older, you get a family, you have some children, you have a full-time job, you might have church, you might have family. There's less and less time to actually nurture friendships, and that's one of the things for me that I've learned has to be very intentional. It's something that I've made a mission for myself in the last several years, frankly, right around the time that I asked you to be my friend. I wanted to do better because it was clear to me that I suck as a friend. Oh, you're in the camera.
Just to make sure my foot.
Oh, your foot's off camera. Thank goodness. That's a massive foot. It's clear that we suck as adults at making friendships and maintaining the ones we have. We sink into some sense of some pattern, some ongoing pattern in our lives where the idea of meeting new people is exhausting, and it is. However, there's also the beauty of it, right? Yesterday, I met with a friend. His this ongoing mission to connect with current friends and find new friends. And I told him, I apologized. I said, man, his wife is a friend of mine too, but I met her through him. And I apologize because I've actually hung out with her several times, but I have not with him. Side note, she and I are also do business together and share deals, that kind of thing. So there's that reason. But I looked at him and I said, I am so sorry. I am a jerk. And he looks at me and says, you are. He was kidding. He says, but it's all right. Let's just do better. It breaks my heart that that is so hard because we have a handful of friends that we could nurture, but we let them fall away. You, for me, have been one of those individuals that I've treasured. We were having, up until he up and moved to New York this past year without telling anyone. I'm just kidding, he didn't move, but he was gone for a while. We would have conversations once, twice a week, just dumping. And that sounds terrible, but just sharing what was going on in each other's lives. He'd listen, process, and give me his opinion. Or sometimes you're really good. You would ask, do you need feedback or do you just need me to listen?
I don't know why. I feel like I got that from you or I got that from somebody.
Yeah. I've done that before because I've heard that from people because we're so quick to start giving advice. I'm like, I got to do better.
Correct.
But you were really good. You're like, all right, TV, today I got something to say. I got a lot of shit to dump. Is it okay? And he would go on for the next hour and a half. I'd listen, we'd process, we'd try to boil it down to some key points of action, and you take off.
Yeah. I like to think that I have a pretty good process. So I've moved around a lot in my life, and I've been alone for most of it. At this stage in my growth and development, I like to believe I have a good system for identifying, acquiring, retaining, and growing meaningful connections and relationships in my life.
Sound like a salesman.
And I think those are important. Those are skills that people either don't continue to develop as they age because of stresses of life, work, job, health, whatever it is.
Or they were convenient and they weren't real friendships. So you just kind of fell off because at some point in time they no longer matched. They no longer really connected, and that makes sense. So there's that reality. So I'm not trying to dismiss those.
That makes sense. And there are some people that were friends of convenience from like childhood, but they're still good people and we still connect. Maybe we don't align on everything, but touching base with them, at least for me, every couple of years or so, like, because the love is still there, and just seeing somebody that you've seen grow from like a child to a grown adult doing stuff positively in the world. It really brings full front and center the effervescence of life. Just the way it just life can be so fleeting, like a bubble, just pop and it's gone. And so connections to me are things that, and relationships are things that add in some more sprinkle and color in your life. Most importantly, the relationship with self, right? Because going back to like those kind of things, to like acquiring, meeting people, you got to know yourself. If I didn't go out of my way to go learn a dance that, I'm looking stupid in because I don't know what I'm perceptively, of course, he's saying differently, but
we all look stupid at some point. We truly look stupid.
Correct. When you're learning something new.
It's a beginner stage.
Exactly. If I wasn't willing to put myself out there, then, I'm not going to be visible to new opportunities. Yeah. Change is the medium for opportunity. So I have to change something that I want to do. And then if I'm not living to my truth, if I'm not aware of how I want to communicate, how I want to come off, how I want to present myself inside, like in a feeling perspective, because other people can feed off that, I am not going to attract the kind of people that are on my wavelength. I mean, it was like instant chemistry, right? And then when we actually sat down and talked, again, there's a lot of things in common. And that's good. I'm sure a lot of people, if they're semi-social, going to the gym, maybe part of a tennis club or something, golfing, whatever it is.
Gym is hard to find
true.
Friendships unless you're part of a group. I've been going to the gym. I'll say that. That's actually a good segue into other things, I suppose. But like, to me, one of the easiest ways to find friendships is to do things. One, for self. I met one of my other best friends, really good former business partner. I've done dance, I've done salsa, I've done bachata. I met you through dance, but I've tried to grow as an individual within groups, because in those groups are other individuals that are also trying to grow, and you have this shared journey, and it makes it easy to then connect, male and female. It doesn't have to be a sexual thing. I literally have said that dance for me has given me my partner, my best friend, a bunch of other great friends, and a community of people that I can connect with. And on top of that, I became a much better version of myself because of dance. I feel more confident in my body. I can move without feeling shame, so forth and so on. So that's the biggest recommendation for anyone that really because I think that's what we're kind of hitting a lot right now is, as adults, we need to do better. We need to nurture the current friendships, figure out what friendships are worth nurturing. Some are not. But then find new friends, because a lot of the reasons that we're sad or miserable is we don't have friendships.
You're alone. You don't feel like somebody gets you. You feel isolated, And I consider myself to be an ambivert. So I have some introverted ambivert. So I have some introverted qualities. I have some extroverted qualities.
You just want a little of everything.
I do actually. So no matter where you fall on that spectrum, do things.
Yeah.
If you meet somebody doing the things that you love to do, at least you have that in common.
It becomes easy to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Just about the thing that you're studying or the thing that the teacher just taught. Like, go over that. Then all of a sudden you jump off and find out that they're also from the same part of the country or whatever. It's like, to me, it sounds... I have a lot of sense of sadness around people that struggle having friendships, but then at the same time, they don't get out of the house or do anything to at least grow internally, because if you grow inside, you're going to grow outside.
Now, I love work. I love my career. But most people, because they don't do things outside of work, most of their friendships come from work. Mm-hmm. And happy hour. Yeah, exactly. Right. And sometimes, very few times are you going to meet people who truly, truly care deeply about your well-being, right? That you're in good spirits. Especially if all you have in common is work, because not everybody takes work with the same vigor that you might. But something like a dance, I mean, you have to love dance if you're going to be doing it for an extended period of time. Tennis, anything that takes effort to learn music, that is something that takes intention. And with that intention comes focus. The people you meet in activities like that, hopefully, at least they're going to resonate with you there. But if they have another thing in common, just imagine how many things in common do you have with most of your friends. And I for those listening or watching, I'm pretty sure if you look at some of your closest friends, they're the ones who are most similar to you in some way.
Yeah. Probably have a 2 or 3 passions or interests that are similar, maybe writing.
Or even their processing or the way they look at the world.
Yeah, the way they look at things. One of the reasons that we get along so well is because we do look at things a lot. I realized early on, I'm like, he's just an African, younger, better looking version of me.
He still has his hair. Don't let him
very
fool
little. Oh, well, okay, fine. This dude is essentially a younger version of me, but much smarter than I ever was.
He gives me too much credit.
He's really smart, and I give him a lot of credit because I find it to be true. I'm not gonna just go overly throw these compliments at you. It's the truth. He really has been studied. He's well versed. He's doing things and done things that I've done in my life. Only he's done them at a much younger age, which has helped him grow. I'm fascinated by him, and that's why I feel like I'm talking to a younger version of myself. Sometimes when he's having some issues, and whether it be relationship, business, life, whatever, I'm like, oh, I got the answer for this. I've been there. And the coolest feeling is when he's like, oh, I've never heard that. What was the last thing I said to you about where you like lost it? You're like, dude, that's the best I've ever heard, or I've never heard it framed that way. I felt like I was a genius in that moment because I'm like, damn.
He is a genius in most moments.
Just that moment.
But man, thank you. As you were saying that, I'm taking stock mentally, and you've met some of my best friends as well. My other best friends, again,
not best friend whore.
And the crazy thing is, and he will attest to this, you put them in the same room, they could be best friends.
He has accumulated, which is beautiful actually. He has a great people in his circle. That in itself, by the way, who did I share this with you? And you were the first one to kind of put this in my ear. I'd heard it before, but you're the first person to implement this, which was you call it a council. Yeah. He calls it a council of friends that he knows he can go to and offer up a problem or an issue he might be having, and the council, his various friends, will chime in with their thoughts, experiences, and recommendations. And then he makes a decision based on what the council or his gut tells him. But they're advising him. You hear about this all the time now. I never heard about this when I was a kid. I was raised in the 90s. That's how old I am. But knowing that he's doing that is like something that I've advised the girls on as well. Like, surround yourself with people that truly will call you out on your shit, who will say, no, you're way out of pocket. You are not right. Or, dude, like, you need to move on. This partnership, this relationship, this business is dead. Go.
So that's a perfect segue. I was actually about to bring up the council.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what I offer them in terms of friendship, but
I'm gonna interrupt him right now. Keep that thought. I don't want you to lose it. What he has to offer is that he genuinely cares about people. He genuinely has a conversation. Am I in focus? Yeah. He genuinely has a conversation that makes you feel valued. He listens. He has been one of the first people that had truly listens, processes and takes it in, and then will offer up whatever thoughts he has, but in a genuine way. So if he does this across the board with all his friends, including his counsel, of course they're going to want to be a part of his life. That's what you have to offer. Sorry.
Thank you.
This really sounds like a love fest. I'm sorry. It kind of is, but carry on.
And I think, and the reason why I'm sharing this idea for counsel, because I think it's a good practice to have, right? Because for me, because most of my friends are much older than myself, I get to witness life from different vantage points. And because I have quite the vivid imagination, I can superimpose that on my current standing to figure out how I need to move with a combination of data, meaning people's experiences or research, or my own internal compass and gut feeling. Mm-hmm. So I find that I avoid a lot of common pitfalls that most people do, and I find fresh new pitfalls for us to solve and have problems and enjoy working around that. But
despite how amazing I keep saying he has plenty of shit and issues, so he comes to me with issues from time to time that I feel like, oh, I got that. I can help you with that.
Clearly why he has still a full head of hair and I don't. But, when we talk about depression rates, when we talk about suicide rates, when we talk about, the rise of antidepressants, the rise of various substances and stuff like that, people coping, I generally feel that self-care is the ultimate care, and having valuable people in my life that I resonate with that pour nothing but love and good vibes into me is part of that. But of course, nothing matters if you lead a horse to water and it doesn't drink. So I have to be drinking from the same pond. I can't love myself less than the people around me. I can't value myself than the people around me. They're going to reciprocate that. They're going to mirror that. So kind of going back to when I was mentioning that system, you have to know yourself first and then put yourself on display. It's hard to do. I think Bruce Lee said the hardest thing for a human being to do is sincere, honest expression, right? But what happens when you express yourself, and this is a very artistic metaphor, but when you put yourself out there, not everybody's going to like you. Some people just, that looks weird, or nah, I don't approve of that. I don't, whatever. But there's going to be a subset of people that do. I believe we just crossed the 18 billion mark from 17 billion in the human population. So if you just take 0.03% of that,
you done the math?
I actually did, but okay. Not with 0.03. I did it with 1%. Either way,
yeah, okay.
There are a couple 100 million people in the world that are on your same wavelength, your same vibe.
Yeah.
You just have to be good at identifying those people, and then who are out there
yeah.
across different ages, genders, geographic location, right? Which is why travel is also important, right? But more on that later. I feel like you have something brewing.
No, it's just I've been blessed in life. I've lived long enough to have been able to grow. I was I grew up in the hood in Dallas. I guess you could call it that. And it was I lived a real small-minded life because that's all I had. Not until my divorce and the starting of my business that I started to grow, because I needed to grow. I needed to start to develop my skills because I needed to learn how to sell. I needed to network. I needed to learn all these things. And I became, and I'm 47 today, as of right now, as of this recording.
Hey, wait, what? Today's your birthday?
No. I'm 47, but...
Today's your birthday? Bad friend over here.
Yeah, you're a terrible friend.
It's not his birthday.
And I think to myself, like, I'm finally in a position in my life where I've always wanted to be. I finally became the man I wanted to be.
Ooh. Okay, I got to touch on that. So, can I interrupt? Okay, so for everybody listening, like, there's a hold on. That was such a damn good fucking point. God damn. Okay.
Focus.
I know. Thank you. So there was a point in my life as well, somewhere around college, where, I don't know, I was studying something, differential equations or some kind of whatever. And I just happened to look up and I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I need to pass this test, but hold up. There's a bigger realization that just dawned upon me as I'm trying to figure out this equation. I am the man that I want to be. Mm.
off right now?
No. Because hear this out. But hear this out.
Okay.
Because the moment I realized that, I was calmly elated, right? Calmly. Because right behind that thought, literally, right after that thought was the antithesis. Now what? How can I grow if I'm already the man that I want to be? What's next for me now?
What was that based on? What was that based on? Was it an earlier goal or earlier version, ideas that you had set for yourself at what, 10, 15? What was that based on? Clearly.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
But
you were there. That's fine. That's beautiful.
So the baseline for me was I wanted to be in a position where I was internally good with my internal environment. I could process my emotions. I could communicate. I can be calm. I can be responsive to life, not reactive to life. I had the I don't know, the gumption to go after what I want. And at that time, I hadn't stacked. For me, I hadn't stacked enough successes consecutively, so I was going based on faith, right? Or based on just blind belief that I can't achieve something. Graduate college, get this highly technical degree, all these things, right? And slowly I built up my repertoire of successes that I can pull when I'm in my down moments. Like, yeah, this situation will work out because it worked out before, right? Yeah. And just kind of, because I feel like a lot of times we recycle our failures.
We do.
And that gives us a lot of doubt and stuff.
Yeah.
So either way,
when we should be recycling all the positive things.
Exactly. I mean, it's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
You mean do the negative if that's what really brings you happy. I'm not going to tell you what was, but for me, that didn't serve me, right? So for me, I wanted to be in a place where internally I felt solid. I didn't have a yearning too much for validation. I didn't have a yearning too much for I felt self-sufficient, emotionally, physically, like in all the illies. I felt self-sufficient.
I've never heard illies.
Right? But then I was like, what next? And then that what next part, answering that is what led to all of this. Because then,
how old are you?
what would you say? At this time of recording, I'm 34.
No. How old were you when you had this epiphany? You were in college.
21.
You were studying 21. Wow. Okay.
21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still had a couple more years of college left.
Cool. That's really neat, man.
Yeah, but I only got there because I had pushed through the different things. But either way, my point is this. So the next question is, okay, well, if I feel that way internally, everything else is gravy. Everything is garnish. So if that's the case, let me spend the rest of the time I have existing in here to allow my external environment to mirror my internal environment. That means the way that I talk to myself, the way that I engage with myself, I'm going to need people that engage with me in the same way. The way I love myself, I'm going to need people to engage with me the same way.
So what did you do next, though? What was the next
first
step?
I had to graduate college.
Oh, okay.
But after,
so what was the next big step based on all that? Like, what did you throw yourself at?
Dance.
Yeah.
I mean, dance.
Salsa?
It was salsa. Love salsa.
So you've been dancing salsa since?
23? No, maybe 24. Okay.
I was off by 1 year. Like, am I off by 10 years?
Yeah, but there are varying degrees of intensity. But really, I don't think it was just a salsa. I took internal stock of where I wanted to develop and where I wanted to grow and where I felt a lack. And I really was very self-conscious around my dancing. Like, I'm African, and my mom and people with family would be dancing as a kid. Like you see those kids dancing those African videos. I was not one of them. I'm the guy like just eating.
I'm the same guy.
I
was just the Mexican. Oh, the Mexican didn't dance.
But I wanted to dance. Yeah. Dancing and you know what? This may divert from the topic a bit because I know we're kind of riffing, but dancing has been something that helps me map my internal mind process, right? Because you're kind of moving in three-dimensional space. Right. So the way you're going to catalog your expression, the way you're going to catalog how you're feeling, the way you're going to
You've given this some thought. That's a beautiful way to put it.
Art decorates space.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Dancing decorates
is
life.
The movement of art.
It decorates existence.
Yeah.
You know, if I do this, I'm never going to be able to have this moment to do that again.
It's
you
gone.
have to, and you can't just look at it. You have to feel it.
Right.
But doing that challenge some growth inside me. So essentially, all I'm trying to say with this analogy, as convoluted as that may have been, is I started throwing myself at things that I wanted to grow in, that I thought would be cool. I mean, because, you know, I'm a hypnotist, I do dancing, I do all these different things.
Don't you also do Tai Chi or Reiki or
some
Kiki?
You know, like the Illies from Kiki. Anyway, and then Tantra, the energy work, all that stuff, right? So like I said, once you get to the place where I got to the place where I was the person I wanted to be, everything was just garnished. So it's like, okay, what do I think is cool? I think it'd be cool to learn how to dance. I think it'd be cool to do that. And when you start becoming proficient in things that you thought were cool, and now the best version of yourself, that coolest version of yourself, starts manifesting before your fucking eyes.
Yeah. So for me, it was quite the opposite.
Oh, okay.
For me, when I first started to make this transition it was my divorce. So for me, my divorce was the best mistake of the best decision of my life, because of the marriage being the best mistake. I have my daughters because of it.
He is a wonderful father. He has amazing daughters. Nah, man, they gotta know.
I don't want to lose this. I don't want to lose this point. Damn it! Feel free to shower me with things with praise in a second. As I was divorcing, it became evident to me that I really was not very much of a man, at least not the man that I wanted to be. I realized that I was missing a lot of skills, a lot of awareness and understandings, and so I took an inventory. And people ask me how I did it, but I took an inventory. I literally wrote down. It may have been a Google sheet at the time, may have been both, but I wrote down every single thing that I wanted to improve about myself, both physically. The simple stuff is just getting a new wardrobe, some new shoes. I wanted to grow some facial hair, because at the time I had none and I was not allowed to have any. Long story short, I was married.
Insert picture of child TV.
It was I looked like a child. But so I grew a mustache, I grew a beard, I did all types of things, got new hair, got new shoes. That was external, right? Went to the dentist, I used to have bad acne around that age. What was that, like 28, 29 when I divorced? 30? I forget. All these physical things, whitening my teeth, but then also internal and skill-wise, I started to study web design. I dove deeper into Photoshop. I started trying to play with photography and videography. I started taking improv. I took all these things because it was clear that I was missing something. Now, on top of that, I didn't have a college education. Not that that really matters, but I didn't have exposure to groups of people. And one of the reasons that people like to go to college is they tell you, it's like, oh, the network. I didn't have any of that. I needed to work at that, and it was all a risk, and even the divorce itself was a risk. And 15 years later, I looked up and I realized I'm living the life of my dreams. I'm not some billionaire or some millionaire, but I'm doing well. I live in a nice place. I can comfortably say I love myself, and that I'm a good-looking man. I can say that and not like laugh and that it's not just. It's crazy to say for myself looking back, because I used to feel like I was the ugliest person in the room forever. Now I feel like I'm a handsome, older, grizzled, gray-haired man. I have a beautiful girlfriend. I have great children, and I'm living a life on my terms. And I am the man I've always wanted to be, but it came from a place of pain. It was clear to me I needed to be honest, and I took inventory, and then I took action.
So I find it very interesting how we started this conversation about friendship, and now we've really just gone into a whole dissertation on how to become a better version of self.
Yeah,
right?
And that's why we ended up becoming friends, because we became better versions of each other.
And and that's the point of life. I mean, so kind of going back to initially, you said, I was trying to figure out what made people say that college was the best years of their life. Because think about it, in college, no, not just
Fun.
youth, right?
People.
People.
Connection.
Most people,
friendships.
the most time, they're going to be surrounded by people the most in college. After that, your social interaction drops off drastically. You either move, you go work, whatever, then your social circle drastically decreases, right, from college. Not only that, but college is a very big exploratory time of most young adults' life. You get to try different things. You get to be in various situations, some good, some bad, and all of them hilarious.
Stories, I can't even speak on.
Exactly, not with the camera. But you know, people are. There's a lot of novelty around life. There's a lot of variety about life.
I see where you're going.
But once most people graduate, they, for whatever reason, stop living. And I think this is really why some people say the idea is to grow up, not grow old, right? Mm-hmm. Because you have to remain childlike. And the concept that me and TV have a lot, and we talk about this one key word, playfulness, a lot. Yeah. Because playfulness is how you discover. And, some people just take life very seriously. And I don't
playing.
Yeah. And let me be clear. There are certain realities of life that you cannot escape. Like, life isn't a whole bunch of roses. There are real stuff with real consequences, right? But that's immutable. That's life. That's the ebb and flow. Don't over-rotate on that. Likewise, don't over-rotate on the highs, right? It's about having that balance. And the only way to get that balance is to have consistency in self, at least, right? Because and then when you have that and you have people that reflect you back to you, your life has no choice but to be beautiful. Work may suck now and then, but hopefully you're in a career you love. Like, all these things.
Something to play with. Something playful, whether it be dance, art,
music,
conversation,
coding, video games.
We have to have something to play.
Cats.
Otherwise, growing, like cats. No, my kids. I'm like, cats, where'd that come from? Too many people get too serious too fast. And I'm careful with that because life is serious, right?
Yeah.
There's some real world shit that we can't escape, but there's also time to actually have some fun and grow with others. But I wanted to transition a little bit. I have a thought that I think I may have told you. There's this idea that I'm fascinated by, that we live in a world of choice. By and far, we have choice, right? What makes us us?
I know it. Okay.
Like, what makes TV TV? Today, I'm a dancing artist, father, boyfriend, marketer, and I don't know what else. I am this person. But tomorrow, I could decide to be, I don't know what, a fucking circus clown. And I can just start choosing that. I'll take circus clown classes. I'll start taking juggling. Like, we can literally choose at any given moment something new. What keeps us from choosing a new identity or something that, like, today I'm going to learn how to, I'm trying to think of something really neat. I'm going to be a truck driver.
Okay.
And I no longer want to be a marketer. And I can literally choose that and join truck drivers, friend groups and whatnot. But we can choose that. What keeps us locked into this one version of ourselves?
For me.
For you. Not for me.
And I think this is again, everything goes back to that, like, inflection point when you realize you are the person that you want to be. Because you also realize the only reason why you got there is you decided to take the path of uncertainty. Again, until you've built out a repertoire of success within yourself, you don't know where anything's going to lead. And with life, you really don't, either way. But you at least can convince yourself that it's going to work out, whether it does or doesn't. And that ability to face doubt, that ability to allow yourself to stretch yourself, that you can achieve something. There are 60-year-olds who are achieving full splits. When people think that...
I saw a video of a 85-year-old lady. Oh, thanks. I just saw a video of an 85-year-old lady doing some gymnastics type of stuff. I'm like, that's who I want to be. I want to be that. So
exactly.
What do I got to do?
And to your point, it goes back to choices. You are the sum of all your choices, right? And the beautiful thing about that is that any day you can switch that around. And you don't know yourself until you know who you are. When I say I became the man that I am, I became the man who makes the type of choices that I wanted to make. Right? I'm the kind of man who responds to situations in a way that I think is healthy to respond. And if it's not, I have a good group of people around me who will correct me on my mistake, who will educate me on why it may or may not have been the best course of action to take. But I could, with love, with grace, with tact, right?
He can kind of be a jerk to himself at times.
To myself, at least, not to everybody.
No, he's gracious with others for the most part.
Yeah, but that sounds very noble, but it can also have detrimental effects, right? So it's a balance. Nothing's perfect, but I say that to say to your question, we are who we choose to be. So the question is, who do you choose to be?
Yeah, I find it so neat to think about that because it's true. Like, I'm not a smoker. I don't identify as a smoker, so I never, if someone offers me a cigarette, I'm like, no thanks, I don't smoke. So I'm not going to choose that. It's knowing, like being aware of that, like, oh, one day I decided I want to be a writer. So what do the writers do? Well, they write, they have experiences, they notate them, they start trying to figure out how to position them, how to put the characters in there, how to get the point across. I'm processing and I became a writer, and now I think I'm becoming a better writer slowly but surely. But we can do that, and I think to answer my question, aside from what you said, is we struggle because we don't know what that will look like. It's the unknown. It's hard. It's difficult because I've had some pushback on that. I've written about it as far as making choices. Just choose to do, and if you fail, which you will more than likely if you've never done it before, that's fine. Now you improve. But somebody pushed back on me. It's like, well, it's easy for you to say because you can just choose easily. Some people it's harder. And although I get that, why not just do it just to experiment? I don't know. It's just I have trouble with people saying that it's easy for me to say just choose. Dude, you just chose to woke up this morning. You just chose to eat a pizza. You just choose things, like choose differently just for the sake of choosing differently.
To that last point you mentioned, I was just thinking about it. I think that's why it's important for two things to happen. One, meet your heroes and realize that they ain't shit.
Oh, I love that.
You know? Because
all of them are full of shit.
I mean,
because they're human, not because they're... Not all of them, although some of them probably are secretly. Like, I try not to idolize anyone, even my heroes, but they're humans.
They're humans, right? So you realize, well, I'm a human too.
Right.
So
therefore,
it's either nature or their environment, their work ethic, or happenstance that kind of got them serendipity.
A combination
of all that stuff, right? Exactly, right? Involved. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I keep going back to this accumulate successes, no matter how small. Learn how to whistle. Learn how to. Oh God. Learn how to do this thing, right? Right. Make I don't look like a wet noodle, right? Like or this thing, right? Yeah, exactly. Whatever it is. Snowball effect. Right. Accumulate little wins, because then what's going to happen is you're going to arrive at some place and somebody's going to tell you.
I call it the brief. Oh damn it! I forgot what I called it. I do it with the girls. Continue. Okay, so, damn it. I'm going to remember, guys. So, essentially, accumulate successes because two things are going to happen, right? As you do that, you're going to realize somebody's going to come to you, man, I wish I could be like you, or something like that. And you're going to be, that's going to snap you out of your trance. Like, wait, what? I'm still struggling to get to where I want to get to because I think where I'm at ain't shit. Right. And you're trying to get to me? I need to take a pause and evaluate how far I've actually come, because for somebody to say that means I have something that's demonstrable, right? And then two, go another layer deeper. Well, how did I get here? Well, I just started working out 1 day a week, then that went to 2 days a week, then went to 3 days a week, and then all of a sudden you do that consistently over a lot of years, you have the physique that people want. You know, or you learn about 10 years. It took 10 years to get there, but people just see that now and they're like, man, I just want to be
exactly, because it's like people say overnight success really doesn't happen overnight. It just came to your awareness overnight. But they've been what is that flower? The bamboo tree.
I don't even know if that's true, but the story.
I don't know if that's true either.
It doesn't.
But I got one that is true.
It doesn't. Bamboo doesn't grow for 10 years. You water it, and then all of a sudden, in like a week or something, like 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah, I get it. We don't know if that's
But
true.
at the same time, the metaphor is there.
The metaphor is there. I got another metaphor that now I think about it, I don't know if it's true. So any
metaphors.
any veterinarian or anybody here, this is an animal thing. Let me know in the comments or let him know if this is true. But it's like when you're going through that tough place to make a different decision. Like, I don't know, relationships you've been cheated on, or you did something wrong, or let's say you failed some tests, you lost a job, whatever, something that's like, okay, I want to make a different decision, I want to be healthier, I want to do something that initiates that type of thought, and that creates that churning, that I don't know if I should do this, I don't know if I should confront this person that I'm feeling something for and talk through this issue. Maybe I should just be emotional, right? Like, you
should never just be emotional. But
you should not. But even the fact that you're even having that level of dialogue, that level of awareness to say that is cool. But the analogy goes this: if you're going through something, right, get through it. Because like the buffalo, the muddy buffalo, right? They hate getting wet. They hate getting sand and dirt on them, all that stuff. So what they've realized,
I've never heard this
as a speech. Yeah, come on, I gotta keep new things coming. I gotta grow so I can share my growth with you. Yes. The buffalo, right? So they hate being wet. So what happens when they see storm clouds coming? What they do is they start running towards the storm clouds because they've realized that if they run away from it, it's going to catch up to them, and they're going to spend the most of the time getting wet, getting sand, all that stuff on them. So they run towards it because by running towards the storm, they spend the shortest amount of time getting wet, and then they feel they feel free to graze and all that stuff. So just like what shit that's going on in your life, if you're already going through hell, go through it. That's the only way to get to the other side. And when you get to the other side, you retain something valuable that gives you the gumption and the fortitude to make different choices in highly stressful, highly pressured situations. I mean, we all have situations like that. I know personally you're going through situations. We're all going through situations, but having the ability to respond to life, that's the energy you're putting out. That's the kind of energy you're going to get back in the new people that you meet, from friends, and how people interact with you and how you interact with yourself. So wanted to put that out there.
Portfolio of success. That's what I call it.
Repository. I mean, it's the same thing. We're talking about the same thing.
Case of success.
Yeah.
Now we're just being jerks.
Yeah, we are.
Portfolio of success. It's something I've talked about numerous times. I've written about. It's something that I did with the girls since they were little bitty. Is I started to get them to do little things with the intention of them feeling successful about it. Throwing a frisbee, catching a football, shooting a basketball, jumping. They did parkour. I have pictures of them like walking across a wire, not a wire, but like a cord, or beams, and doing tumbles. Art, music, editing, poetry, public speaking.
His daughters are phenomenal.
But all these things, they weren't like, chess. Like, they weren't great. They weren't world class, but they were successful at doing it at a low level, to where as time progressed, my intention was, as life started to, hit them in the face, which it will, I would be able to go back to them, or even before they get to me internally, they would be able to say, but I've been doing hard things all my life. I've been doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing all my life. So you have those stories to refer back to, those experiences. Because too often, what ends up happening is we're like, oh man, I suck at this. I suck at math. I've always sucked at math. Or I'm terrible at anything athletic. Or I suck at music, and therefore I can't dance. Everything's a fucking skill, essentially. Aside from certain things in life, almost everything you see is a skill, and it just takes time. So if you can look back and realize, like, I was able to do those things and do them well when I was a child, I can do this now. I can go through it, even if it's something tough that they've never done before. Too many times we refer to old experiences of failures, and we talked about this before we got on camera. We refer to those old experiences of when we failed instead of the positive experiences of when you succeeded. And even when it's all about the story, is what it amounts to me, what it's been clear to me. If you just tell a different story, like, yeah, I tried, I failed, but I can try again and see what happens now, based on the learnings that I had from this previous 2, 3, 5, 20 experiences of failing. Too many people are telling a terrible story.
You didn't fail, you learned.
I mean, you failed. didn't accomplish the goal.
You didn't accomplish the goal,
but however, unless you're dead, like you can still try again if it's something you truly want to do.
So, example, The Matrix.
I guess I just don't want to. One thing I'm sick and tired of hearing about, like, they're trying to reframe certain words to where positive words are not negative words.
That's
why failure is failure. You didn't hit the goal. Yeah, that's the truth.
You
that's
fucking
fine.
failed. You just
that's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't win. I fucking tripped and fell on my face and broke my ankle. But you're healed. You'll be fine.
Exactly. So I'm just saying, no, like you lost your hair. You failed at getting like luscious.
I had it while I had a punch of hair one time, but hey, everything ends, and now we start again.
Exactly. To that point on failure, it's almost like, The Matrix. They have this concept of you can just like download skills, right? Neo, I know karate, right?
I love that because it's true. I feel like you can.
Okay, I'm going to take the adverse look at that now. So, yes, you can. There's one thing to just download the skills, right? Let's say if he was to take his brain and implant into me or whatever. That's one thing. Now, if he was to try and execute those skills, if his spirit was in my body trying to execute skills that he has, I may be able to execute it, but I may not be able to fulfill it completely. Why? Because I haven't gone through the repetitions to gain the muscle memory.
Repetitions?
The tendon strength. Like if I was to do a punch,
like
a martial artist, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I may not even have the flexibility because I'm in a different vehicle right now.
You need those reps.
Not
just, You
need
to fucking fail.
Because there's a lot of things that people understand through theory. Now put them in some real shit. How's that theory working out for you? What did Mike Tyson say?
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the fifth.
If you didn't alley that oop, I was going to look stupid on camera.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
And I would have failed and I would have learned.
I heard something else similar to that. Is you're not going to learn how to ride a bike by reading the manual. Yeah. I don't think there's even a manual. But the point is, you can only read something. You got to fall. You got to bust your ass. You got to scrape your knees. Like, stop trying to be a...
You're not going to learn how to love.
Until you have a broken heart? Are you going to sing to me?
Until you start giving some loving. Give loving out there, people.
What are you trying to do? Become a meme right now? What are you trying to do,
homie? Bald black man. Give loving.
And give some loving. This is some Luther Vandross shit. That's what that sounded like. We may have to edit this. I'm trying to think of like a way to bring it home.
So, bring it all back. We went through a lot today, right? We started off talking about how we became friends and what that looked like, the journey of life to...
I don't think I would have become... I know I wouldn't become his friend if I hadn't gone to dance class. The journey to self-improvement takes you through all types of phases in life, and you get to meet a whole bunch of people and a whole group. Like, it's just by working on yourself.
Take life by the horns, travel, right? Put yourself in new places, because if
it doesn't even have to be another country.
It doesn't. Thank you. It
doesn't. Just go to a dance studio. Go play competitive frisbee.
Yes.
Like, I've seen that. I want to do that. I want to meet those guys. Like, what do they call it? Like,
I don't know, but it's competitive frisbee.
Some competitive. I want to do that. That looks like fun. I'm gonna do that next year.
He's gonna do that next year. So we've circled the gamut, becoming a better version of yourself so that you can attract the people who you would want to have as friends. How do you become a better version? Like, just recycling success, building a portfolio of success.
Damn,
and just...
This is good. You want to host this? This is beautiful. He's going to bring it home. Let's go.
So we talked about a lot of different things, and but I think that if I was to bring it home, as you say, one thing... Hey, people, just love yourself, right? Do unto others as you want done to yourself.
Oh, shit. You went there.
Love yourself. I mean, it's true. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world right now. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lack of empathy. There's a lack of sympathy. There's a lack of connection. There's a lack of conversation, And what's the essence of friendship? My soul in this galactic spacesuit, that he cannot feel my soul physically, but we can interact, like, verbally. I can give him a hug, all this stuff. Sharing my thoughts, sharing my streams of consciousness with him allows him to understand where I'm coming from, and him doing the same. What does that do? It connects us. And once it connects us, we realize how similar we are. And if I love myself the way I feel like I love myself, I'm not going to do anything to harm him. I'm not going to do anything to harm any of you guys if I can do it. Life has its own happenstance. But for those of you going through tough times, just keep going. It gets better, and you meet fellow warriors along the way, right? No matter what age, we're all rowing the same stream. His boat may be a little bit ahead of me, but we're going in the same direction, right? So, yeah.
His boat just happened to pass mine at a younger age.
Okay, no.
And this is not a knock. Like you're further along in life in a positive way. You've had some help and some resources that I didn't have, which is fine. I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm saying that it's not. Although it is a competition, it isn't a competition.
It's me versus me out there.
Yeah,
I always
literally
would.
just told that to my girlfriend. It's you versus you. Like she's trying to grow a business. It's you versus you.
Yeah. It's you versus you.
For the most part, I mean, I'm sure. I know for a fact I'm going to get somebody saying that's easy for you to say.
Of course.
But
oh, they sound like some privileged people
Yeah,
who've never had anything like.
I can hear it already.
Yeah,
It's fine and dandy.
Yeah.
But given where we're at, we have a lot of access. We have a lot of information. A lot of it can be even free, and we can all, if we choose to grow, we can grow.
So something just popped in my head as I was saying that last statement. I know we're trying to wrap it up, but
But maybe we're not.
Maybe we're not.
Make it a 2-hour podcast.
Boom. There we go. Here we go. You thought we were done.
Let's talk about sports.
Let's talk.
Oh, we could. He didn't follow sports.
Like when we mentioned the privilege and stuff like that. So I'm from Africa, and I've been to places where there's a humongous economic disparity. I've lived in places. I've had family members in places, and and a lot of people may understand this. Sometimes the people who have nothing
actually have a better life.
So happy.
They're enjoying life.
They're so happy. They're enjoying life.
They don't have the dumb desires that we have.
Exactly, but it's that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
Hi Buddhists in the audience, right? Like
that's something I definitely want to talk about in a future podcast. Something that I've been learning. But on mimetic desire, we don't want what we want for our sake. We want it because the person over there has it or desires it, which is interesting. But that's like I said, another conversation.
It's another conversation. So, if there are people who think that, like, just keep going. Just keep going. I just want to send some love. I just want to like that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just
okay. So I'll wrap it up with this.
Thank you.
You're gonna be
tomorrow's gonna be better. Yeah. Just keep pushing.
All right now. Okay, so that actually leads right into what I wanted to say. Cliches.
we just talked about this.
We talked about that earlier. He sounds because it's relatively true. We talk a lot and we have a disdain for things that are cliche. But the reality is cliche is the good stuff. It's the good, true stuff. Love. Oh. Friendship. Oh. Personal. It's cliche because it's true. Fall in love with the cliche. Do the cliche. Wake up early, go to sleep late, whatever.
But think about it. That repertoire of success, until you have that, fake it till you make it. Imagination. Right? That's a cliche, but
it's cliche because it's true. I think we need to be careful not dismissing what's cliche. And actually, it's true because it's been true for thousands of years. Up is up, down is down. I mean, we can, without getting into weird shit, that's relatively true.
Okay. How do you make that weird?
Well, again, you got weird on me when I said 1 + 1 = 2. You're like, well, see. I'm like, some people, like, I'm always watching for that idiot in the corner that says, yeah, but.
Okay, so yeah, in classical physics that works, but if you go down to the quantum world.
Like, we're talking, like, anyways. This is it for today because me and him can talk for hours. I just wanted to let you in, a sneak peek into what it is to be a friend with this guy and what is here. Some of the things that we're talking about, we're working on personally, as well as between our friendship. I appreciate you. I like to think that we can do these often. I'll have some.
It's the only way I get to see him.
No, he's been gone, and I'm not gonna. Dude, let's wrap this up. God damn it! I don't want to chew you out in front of everyone for being a terrible friend. He's a great friend. Find you one. Like, who in your circle right now?
Need you one of these.
Find them. Like,
get you one of these.
Stop hiding. find a friend, and chances are you may already be doing things. You could just, hey, you want to hang out? Or an old friend that maybe you just lost touch with, reach out to them. Say hi. What are you up to? Let's hang out. The more you do that, the more likely you are to connect with someone. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. You can break up with them like you do your partner. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So if you guys want us to do this again,
we're going to do it again anyways.
Oh.
We're not asking for permission.
You right? Oh.
I'm not asking for permission. I'm going to talk to my best friend because this is the only time I can see him too. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, follow, comment. What was your favorite takeaway? What was the cheesiest thing we said that you heard that you really wish you could do more of? Whatever. Tell us that we're full of shit. Do that too. Until next time, thank you for tuning in to the TV Show Podcast. This is TV.
Chris.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.